How you guys doing? Chuck Burns for the USA here, and thanks for watching the YouTube channel. Um, doing gonna write a blog for the next few days about gun control, and I had a poll going on my new blog page, and I got a few people answered it so far. But I felt like I'm gonna put this up with the blog, when I write it here next day or two. I wanted to get some opinions on what people thought. We gave them 5 options. Gun control, none, confiscation. Where we are right now is okay. Where we are right now is plus a little more, and where we are right now minus some. And my readership and the people that follow me on Twitter are mostly conservative, and so I got mainly that second option from no regulation. Between that and where we are, like where we are and a little bit less, take some away and we're good. And I wonder why it is that my fellow patriots don't comprehend the meaning of words. I'm wondering, because you're usually the brighter end of the stick here as far as the two political sides go. I'm wondering if my other fellow patriots failed in English class, or forgot how to read a dictionary and just check the definitions of words. Because I specifically, and I clearly remember, and I'm pretty darn sure of it, that the Second Amendment says, shall not be infringed. That does not have after it, with the exception of around 30-round magazines, with the exception of guns, the flash suppressor, and a bayonet, with the exception of fully automatic weapons or semi-automatic weapons, or with the exception of it looks scary. I don't see that anywhere. I just see shall not be infringed. And if I go look that up in the dictionary, shall not be infringed, to hamper, to impede somebody, it's obviously so clear to me that that document, our Bill of Rights, our Constitution says that the Second Amendment is without exception. It's without equivocation. It's without except ifs or but. Well, not if though. No, it just says it shall not be infringed. So what is this when I see most people answering? Less than we have now, but still some regulation. What is it that you want? You want them to have felons not be able to have guns. Well, how about this? Two things. How about the fact that most felons in this country right now are not violent felons? So you get drug offenders and like that. So and also how about this? If they're so dangerous that they shouldn't have a gun, they should probably still be in jail. And when they get out, they should have a right. They have no less right than you do to defend yourself. They don't. So somebody attacks a felon, he's not entitled to defense. And if he's true and correct, he will show that in court. Right? Does he not have that same right? Or is he less of a person than you are, and he doesn't deserve the right to defend himself like you do? Felons got families and daughters and wives, too. People make mistakes, and they still got families, though. Tell it to his wife and his kids. Well, your daddy couldn't defend himself because he had a criminal record. And even though somebody attacked him with a baseball bat, daddy couldn't have a gun. Well, how about you tell it to the grandparents and the family gets murdered? Because there's nothing in the house to defend them from a criminal. Oh, yeah, I'm being extreme. But I'm trying to drive a point home here. You see, years ago, I got caught selling weed, doing some stupid stuff. And guess what? I got a felony. I had nothing violent on my record. You know how hard I had to fight to get the right to own a gun back? In the county where I got convicted in, like plea bargaining, which I should have never done. My lawyer screwed me pretty royally, because that's what the system does. That's what laws do. It's not what the Constitution does, but it's what laws do. But county won't give me my guns back. Like, damn near over 5 freaking years off probation, not one crime, not one speeding ticket even. And that's not good enough. So I have less of that. So So I was like, so I have less of a right to defend myself than another human being? Am I not a person? Yeah, I told him. I had to go higher up than him. But I said, so you're denying me my constitutional right. You're telling me that I don't have the same rights as you. You're telling me that I make a mistake and I can never live it down. It will be held against me indefinitely. I'm not a murderer or rapist or some crazy psychotic motherfucker. No, I'm just a guy who made a mistake. I'm a patriot. If you watch my videos, you can tell I believe in this country in my core. And even though I've been railroaded, I would say, by the justice system for a non-violent crime, a victimless non-violent crime, I contend that to this day. I still believe in this country. That it can get better. And those kinds of things can stop happening. You can change. So what regulation is it that you want on guns? What obstacle do you want to put in your own way from defending your family and freedom? Why do you feel the need to make it harder on yourself? Criminals will get guns, will get magazines, will get ammo, regardless of the laws. That's why they're criminals, because they're thugs and they break laws. They don't obey the laws like we do. They're punks. And so when you pass a law on everybody else that's going to obey the law, you empower a criminal and make all of us weaker. Make people like me have to fight for something that should be mine, my rights. And mind you, in my case, I took nobody's rights from them. I never hurt nobody. I never took their property or stole. I didn't take a thing from anyone. I didn't violate another person's rights. Hell, even when I was doing what I was doing, I was honest. You hand me too much money, I'd give it back to you. So, yeah, you gave me 220s here. It must have been me from the bank. Here, stick it together. Here you go, buddy. I'm not cheap. I don't do that anymore because, I realize if I want to be a good voice for the message I have to have some certain standards I hold myself to. But you know what, though? I didn't damage anybody. If you want to say I damage people, then you know what you should do? Go after liquor store owners. Right? Go after people who sell spoons to fat people. They can eat ice cream faster. So people who sells a spoon over a certain diameter and like a cross, do that. Doesn't make sense, does it? So what regulations do you want on guns? Which ones make sense? Well, people shouldn't have fully automatics, Chuck. Well, hold on. The whole point of the militia clause in the Second Amendment, the whole militia thing is to make the point that that the young men, when they showed up, if they were part of the militia, that they should have weapons that were the standard of the time for the army. So if the militia had to be called into duty, which is all of us, we could show up with the same weapons that the army would have. So we could be combat effective. That means a fully automatic M16A2 rifle. Does it not? Back then, everybody had muskets and the army had muskets. And now the army's got fully automatic M16. We should all be able to have the same. Otherwise, we're not very much of a militia, are we? No. So what regulations do you think is okay? Which one do you think is going to do some good? Let's get real. In the past century, over 250 million people have died directly at the hands of dictators who all of them kept guns from the public. And they started with little things, and it always led to big things. 250 million people cried out and were silenced by tyrannical governments who exercised oppression against them, all different degrees of socialism, nationalism, fascism, and communism, and just outright dictatorship. You see a lot of in Africa. But then if you want to total it up over the past century, all the people who have died, and the byproducts of that, the byproducts too, not just directly murdered, there's 250 million people murdered by their government. But you want to add up the people that were the starvation, the food shortages, the famine, the plague that resulted from those kinds of rulers, and that kind of government oppression. It's over 1 billion people. 1 billion plus. So what rules should we place on firearms? Or is that a number you'd like to increase? And you say, well, we gotta do a little something. It's a slippery slope, motherfucker. A slippery fucking slope. You want to go down that hill? Do you want to find out how much it's going to hurt when we hit the bottom? Who's looking for an adrenaline rush like that? No, let's see how hard. Let me jump and smack my head in this thing and see how hard it hurts. How much it hurts. See how hard I hit it with if I jump real fast. It's like, you looking for a rush? It's a rush you don't want. Freedom's a rush. And that comes from the unimpeded man living his life. If a man is so much of a threat that he shouldn't own a gun, he shouldn't even be in the streets. He should be in prison. If you're going to let him out, you let him out and you let him have his damn rights. Because otherwise, look at the system we have now. Corrupt judges, corrupt courtrooms, unconstitutional laws. And you think that people with felonies should be deprived of their rights? The government has made so many stupid things a felony, you just hand them the keys to the kingdom. So they can get just about every single one of us. I hear it's like right now, it's like they average like 2 or 3 times a day, all of us commit a felony. You don't even realize it. There's millions of pages of code regulation and just crap. So if we all do that 2 times a day, that's because it's right. I don't know if it's right or not. But it's a scary thought to think that if it is, because that number is right, that not one of us here can own a gun. And systematic disarming through ridiculous and frivolous code and law. Right? Legislation on people that can't have them, that have this mental thing or that, and then a background check comes up, they can't have it. And now our vets are being deprived of the right to own firearms for that same law, that same logic. Men who fought, men who gave their lives, the ones who came back, a lot of them came back missing limbs. And we won't let them have a gun to defend themselves and their family and their rights. For shame if you're for gun regulation. For shame if you can't define a simple phrase like shall not be infringed properly, and you think that somehow shall not be infringed equates out to some gun regulations okay. I don't think the two, if you put them next to each other, shall not be infringed and regulations okay. How you can even look at that honestly and tell me that you're a fucking honest person and that you're for freedom. Check your road and the nature of your path. Check your premise. Check your beliefs. You not pick and choose how you apply them. Apply them thoroughly, evenly, and consistently. And you will see that saying that guns can be regulated at all is the beginning to an end that really is the end of our country. Thank you for listening. Take it to heart. I know I'm right. No matter whether or not you're going to admit it.